Really fun day. They had several people, like Lieutenant Governor and the World Trade Center with Derek Miller have been in Emery County, and now they're here to share some of our afternoon with us. So we want to thank the Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox for attending, as well as Derek Miller with World Trade Center. Senator Hinkins is here, Commissioner Holtz, Casey Holtz, Commissioner Jake Miller, Mayor Chavez, Mayor Piccolo, and then the media that's here from Salt Lake, as well as our local media, and all of you. Thank you so much for coming. I am Tammy Ursenbach. I am the Economic Development Director for Carbon County. When I started 3 years ago, I realized very quickly that Carbon County needed to diversify our industry, and within the county, we needed to take steps to prepare to do so. Carbon County has been hit hard with our downturn in energy, especially for our coal. We need to have other industry here to help sustain us when the coal or other energy is down and until it returns. In Utah, our average unemployment is 3% to about 3.4%. In Carbon County, ours currently is 5.4%, and it's been up just under 7%. And that sounds good that we're starting to lower unemployment. Unfortunately, that means that a lot of the people that were on unemployment have lost their benefits, and they've exhausted those. So they're either not working still or they're in underpaid positions. So we are grateful to be here today and talk about some of the businesses that are going to come in. Carbon County is a wonderful place to live and to work, and I will tell you, I have lived all over, and I've never been in a place that is more accepting and loving and that cares more about the people than they do right here in Carbon County. One really nice benefit of the employees here is that their skills are transferable. So they have skills that can be applied in other areas that would have equal pay, and our employees have strong work ethics that carry over into any industry. It doesn't matter how long, it didn't take me long to realize to bring businesses to the county is not something that I can just wait on and have the state do for me or into somebody else. I had to be proactive, as well as the rest of the county. So if we could wave a magic wand, that would be wonderful, but that doesn't work. And we don't have a genie that pops out of the bottle to grant us 3 wishes. So instead, we've had to learn to work together as a county. And that's exactly what we've done, not just in our county, but we've had to learn to work together with other counties and other organizations and collaborate. One of those examples is Accelerant today. They were introduced to our county by Scott Barney out of Miller County. And Miller County wasn't quite ready for them to come, but when I met them with a group of people, I said, we've got a building and we've got amazing workers. And about a year and a half later, we finally had them here, and Health Equity came and followed them. And so you will hear more about them later today. This past year, I prayed and prayed and prayed that we could announce just one company, knowing that it would bring peace and hope to our residents. And knowing that there were people that had been ready to pack up their cars and leave, just leave their homes, knowing that they couldn't stay here. And I knew that if there was just hope of one company, that would give them the hope to hold on just another few days, another month or two. Today, my prayers have been answered. We have instead not just one company, but we have several companies. In fact, I think there's 9 of them that you're going to hear from today. And so we're going to keep them short. We're going to keep them going very quickly. But they each have such an amazing story, and I want you to hear. Some of these businesses are from right here in Carbon County, that they've either grown and started themselves, and some of them are from the Wasatch Front that want to come here and want to help. So at this point, I'm just going to quickly go through the first part and then let some of the others announce. So our first speaker is going to be Matt Blazer with Intermark Steel, Travis Rahala with Drabs and Fabs, Prasad Reddy with the Data Center, David Spatafor with Consumer Renewals LLC, Amanda Holly Paez with Marketing Elevated, and then at that point we're going to turn it over to Nicolina Womack, and she's going to introduce some of the people going into our JCPenney building and her program. So we're going to get to that point, and then we'll just let them continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy, for that introduction. My name is Matt Blazer. I am the founder, owner, and president of Intermark Steel. I believe that we are the country's finest producer of light structural and miscellaneous steel for commercial projects. And it's kind of, it's ironic that I'm standing here today before you because this is where it all started for me, right in this very room. I remember sitting in that chair right there, and a member of this community, one of the county commissioners, approached me a week later, and he said, "I like the ideas that you have." And he was the one that connected me to the capital that I needed to start my business. This county is remarkable because they truly do get behind the business owners here. I don't get that kind of attention on the Wasatch Front, I have to admit. I want to tell you a little bit about our story, because our story, it's based on the people that live here, people that, I would call the forgotten man. In March of 2016, I showed up here and I met with the former general manager of a company called Transamerica Steel and Concrete. And we sat in the front office of this building, and the lights were turned off. And we had to crack the door open to let the light in. And as I spoke to this man, I realized he had a heart of gold, and all he wanted to do was work. And we discussed it, and he looked at me, and I'm sure he was quite skeptical because I had my banker's shoes on, I had nice slacks, and he was wearing camo shorts. And he looked at me and he goes, "Are you going to quit your job, or is this just a side project?" And I made a promise to him that day. I said, "This will be my bread and butter." And he made a promise back to me. He said, "If you can get the work in here, I'll get it out." And so we went to work. We had no money, no capital, but we had a dream. And an amazing thing has happened to us. We've started with the very smallest of contracts at $50,000, and today we have over $5 million in backlog. And that's happened. And it's because of the people that live here. I go out into the business community on the Wasatch Front and I make big promises. I tell them that we can do things that other companies can't. And what's amazing is I come back, I look my men in the eye, and I tell them what I promised. They look me back, and they fulfill my promises. And it's because of that work ethic, we have a client base with some of the largest steel fabricators and contractors in the country. Right now, we're working on some very big projects in the state. We're working out at Salt Lake International Airport. We were just awarded a contract at Amazon. And we don't see any slowing in our future. Just now we're starting to bid projects outside of the state of Utah with great success. And our growth will not stop because we have great people here. And if there's anybody here who's thinking about bringing their business to Carbon County, do it. These people have a simple work ethic, but they have grit and tenacity, and they do things that I could never get people on the Wasatch Front to do. And they've made us successful. It's a great opportunity for me to be here with you today. Not because I get to associate with fine people like yourselves, but I'm giving a voice to those people that are forgotten about. They go to work every day, they kiss their wives goodbye in the morning, and they just go to work. Nobody knows who they are, nobody knows what they do and how hard they work, but they do it. And I'm grateful that I can be here and be a voice for those people. Thank you.
Obviously, I'm not Travis Rahala. I'm his wife, Sandy, and I'm here to tell you about our business, Drabs to Fabs. We first got into this business a year and a half ago. The business has been established for 6 years. We own a business called MineWest, and with the mining and the energy, everything was going down, so we decided to diversitize. Drabs to Fabs refinishes cabinets, railings, banisters, mantles, anything you want done, we can do that. It's been going from Idaho all the way to Provo-Orem area, and it's been going really good. We want to bring it down to Carbon County and offer that, employ people locally, and be able to grow that business. If you're interested in anything, we have our website, Drabs to Fabs. You can go on there. We have thousands of pictures and projects that we do. We complete about 3 to 5 kitchens or projects per week. So we're pretty busy that way. We like to come in and really do a personal relationship with our customers and be able to help them meet their needs and help them with their costs. Replacing a kitchen is very expensive, and we're about 1/3 to half the cost of that. So we're hoping to bring that to Carbon County and to help out the people here and to be able to bring more jobs in, because I think that's what our community needs. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Prasad Reddy, and this is my wife, Shweta Mishra. We both are physicians practicing in Salt Lake City, and we're moving to Price as well as establishing a business here. It should be up and running in the next 1 or 2 weeks. What we are doing is a technology-based company. Some of you may have heard about Bitcoin, some of you may have read some articles. So what we're doing is developing a data center that will focus on validating the transactions on the blockchain technology. The Bitcoin and the blockchain technology started about 8 years ago, and since then there has been steady improvements. Around 2 years ago, a new version of, you might call it a programmable money, where even if there is a millionth of a cent that is being transferred, just like a title document on a land registry, you can see the ownership as to where the property changed the hands from person to person. On Bitcoin, as well as the newer version called the Ethereum, you can see a millionth of a cent, the ownership from the origin all the way to the current owner. So for this technology, this is a new and emerging technology. We are basically setting up a data center with 5,000 graphic cards, and soon should be upgrading it to about 15 to 20,000 as the network and the infrastructure allows it, and then we can work with the city as well as the electrical infrastructure. For our company, we have hired about 15 to 20 people so far to help with the remodel and the rehabilitate the building, and we will be looking for 10 employees, with 5 of them are going to be fully paid with we are planning to pay for the bachelor's education in computer science, so that as this technology is evolving, we see there are a lot of potential opportunities that will come. One of them is a programming language called Solidity, and that is likely to come in the first and second quarter of next year. So we are interested in, on one side, maintain the data center, on the other side, educate ourselves as well as the employees who are going to be working with us to be trained in Solidity programming. And we've been working with the local university to develop partnerships as well as create a win-win for the company as well as for the students in the local community.
Good afternoon. My name is David Spatafor, and it's being born and raised in Carbon County. And living in Salt Lake for the last 40 some odd years after I graduated from Carbon High School. It's wonderful to be back home. I'm here today to represent Equinta Land LLC, the primary landowner, and Consumers Renewables LLC. Consumers Renewables has a plan to build a 100-megawatt solar project just north of the golf course and west of Helper. We have the Quintaland LLC, 300 acres under contract. We have 80 acres from our neighbor Pete Stamatakis and Lieutenant Governor Cox. We're working with Sitla, and hopefully by the end of the month, 1st of September, we'll have 500 Sitla acres that we've made a request for. I'm here today to thank Tammy. Tammy has been great. We've started this process about a year and a half ago, and it's been very, very difficult. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for Tammy, I'm not sure we'd be here today, because between Tammy and the commission, the county commission, they've given us the necessary support. Let me just say, as a solar project, we've not asked for any Carbon County tax dollars. We're trying to make it fiscally responsible without asking for any property tax rebates. We are going to go to Val Hell, Lieutenant Governor, to try to get some income tax return based on the jobs we're going to create. But what we have is, right now, we've been working with a lot of local talent. All of the folks who we've hired to do the surveying, all the engineering, all of the land moving has all been from Carbon County. Because when the folks from who are putting together the solar project came to me and said, we want to use your land, the first thing I told them was, every dollar has to be spent in Carbon County. Every dollar. You know, they first brought me a surveyor from Delta, and no offense to Delta, I said, we've got surveyors in Price. We're going to use everybody from Carbon County, and we've done that. And that's going to continue to happen. This has been a great opportunity for Carbon. Thank you. It's been a great opportunity to partner with the county, and we're going to continue to do so. Just to put this into scale, it'll eventually be 900 acres. 100 megawatts of solar, and let me just tell you right now that Price City every year uses 17 megawatts of energy. So this is 100 megawatts of energy of solar that we're going to try to produce annually. During the construction phase, which we hope will start later this fall, it'll be 125 jobs. And that's just the construction phase. Once it's built, we won't have nearly as many jobs. There'll be around 10 to 15 jobs, but they'll be good jobs. And as I said, we're using all local talent. 70 or 80 years ago, my father was a coal miner. And unfortunately, he developed black lung disease, and that was one of the issues that caused him to lose his life. But he generated his early life mining coal, as I know many of the ancestors of Carbon County and Emery County residents did. And one of the things that I'm particularly proud of today is as I'm back home, and I went and talked to Mom and Dad at the cemetery a few minutes ago, is with a solar power project, we're able to help Carbon County diversify its energy portfolio. And that's something that's very, very important to me. There are a lot of companies, coal power is great, coal generated power is great, but right now it's highly mechanized and not nearly as many jobs as there was when my dad and my uncles worked in the coal mines. But now bringing in a commercial solar farm, Carbon County now can offer both carbon generated energy and renewable energy. And at the end of the day, that's what we're particularly proud of. We were hopeful to have started construction this spring. We hit one snag. In order to transmit power, you have to work with the incumbent power company, and we were promised to have our transmission study by them completed in April. It's still not completed yet. But and that's a problem. Mr. Lieutenant Governor, that is a problem. But what we've done is the folks who I work with, they've attempted to try to diversify how they're going to transmit power. And so we're in the process of getting that done with our investors, and we're hopeful to be beginning construction within the next 90 days. Thank you for being here, Tammy. Thank you, Commissioners.
Well, welcome. I am just so excited and pleased to see all of the faces in this room right now. I'm Amanda Pies, and I am proud to announce my company, Marketing Elevated, which will be a full-fledged marketing firm to represent Eastern Utah and possibly beyond. Before I get into the details of my business, I do have to throw a huge thank you and show my utmost respect to the Tony Basso Group, who has been 110% supportive in my efforts, as well as they've been my employer for the last 4 years. So it's really great to have the support of Tony Basso and the crew, and we're excited to see what's going to come. I've served in the media and served the community, hopefully, for about 10 years now. And what I've discovered is a little bit of a break in communication. When it comes to marketing, I think the integrated message is one of the most important things you can achieve for success in your business, and Marketing Elevated will hopefully bring that to your business. I researched marketing for models all across the United States for the past 2 years, and I didn't really find a model that was going to benefit Carbon and Emery County. It's not affordable. And so I have designed a product unique to Eastern Utah that is going to bring social options, digital options, full facilitation options, or just a use us as you need us option. That is based upon pricing that will help hopefully benefit Eastern Utah and take us to the next level. There's a really exciting vibe in Carbon County in Eastern Utah, and I am so grateful to be a part of it. We will be hiring 110% local talent, whether it's social media facilitators, digital facilitators, sales, accounting, and office personnel as well. I'm just excited to be a part of the future of Carbon County, and I appreciate all the support.
I don't have the vertical. Bring that down a bit. I don't have the vertical. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicolina Womack, and I'm the founder and CEO of Future in Design. I want to thank, I had the wonderful opportunity, Tammy took me around the community yesterday to meet the educators and principals and various community members here in Price, and I am so blown away and impressed of the level of care and compassion and dedication that each of you have on making sure that you invest for these younger and future generations, and how much you really want to see them be happy and healthy and successful in that. I rarely see that. I saw that once before in the Kearns community, and so it's really wonderful to see that here. So Future in Design is a science, technology, arts, engineering, and math career development program. We provide underrepresented communities the graphic design, product design, technology, engineering, and life skills training to be a competitive pipeline for Utah's science, technology, engineering, and arts workforce. We plan on, with this consortium, with the J.C. Penney building, taking 25 young adults and adult learners each semester through our pre-apprenticeship training program. And our goal is that when businesses look to expand or shut up shop, that they're going to look at price and they're going to be very aware of what this consortium is already aware of. And it has been mentioned many times here today that right in Utah's backyard, beautiful backyard, is an existing pool of talented and creative and innovative, and as we've heard many, many times today, hardworking culture of Carbon and Emery County. They're going to jump to meet their employee and labor needs that they're currently facing and fill them with the community members here in Carbon and Emery County. And this is just the beginning. We know that for a community to be happy and healthy and prosperous, that it requires hope. And Future in Design, we will address the immediate job needs and job training needs, but we're very aware, and in our conversations, that employment's not the only challenge that this community is facing. And as we look forward, it is our commitment to utilize our knowledge and resources that we have to align amazing programs like Circles, and the community members and their efforts that have already laid fantastic groundwork to expand this community's access to positive outlets and outreach and education opportunities that provide that hope and the opportunity to have healthy and thriving futures from cradle to career. When I first came down here, the very first thing I did, being a Greek girl myself, is I went straight to the Greek Orthodox Church and looked at it, and I just was filled with a sense of pride and history. And I want to extend that out, like the ancestors of Price that came here for a promise of opportunity, and they set a legacy of hard work and that village mindset where you gather around the community and you rally around each community member to make sure that they have the needs that they need. And so we're really very, very honored to partner with this community and with all of you to reinvigorate that effort and to blow the socks off the rapidly emerging jobs for tomorrow, and we're going to do that today. Thank you. I'm going to give it to Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian Sather. I'm with Blacksmith International. This is now the third time that I've been able to address a gathering here at Price and talk about what we're doing. And it's super exciting. I'm really happy to be part of the coalition that's working to revitalize the JCPenney building. It's especially important to me for reasons I'll get to in a second. But my company manufactures consumer goods, and we typically do that in China, India, Mexico, where we've had to. That's where manufacturing has gone. But we're now entering a time where we can bring the technology. We can train the people. We can create really good jobs and be very competitive in a market that's becoming less about price and cheap labor and more about time to market and quality. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here. The reason that it's near and dear to my heart that we're doing this here is that I grew up in eastern Montana. I hear a lot of talk about eastern Utah. I grew up in eastern Montana, and I grew up in an oil town. I've seen the booms and the busts. I've been part of them. I understand what that looks like. I understand what it's like to be on the wrong end of that. We've all been there. The other thing is I was just in eastern Montana last week, and I walked by the JCPenney building, and they were selling the fixtures. So I've been shopping at that building my entire life. I don't remember a time when something wasn't happening there. And I just thought to myself, looking at this building with the exact same layout, maybe not quite the footprint that this massive store here has, but the exact same layout, same look, everything, how neat it was that we were going to be working to revitalize a building like that. So we're just thankful that you all have welcomed us. We're thankful that there's so much support in the state of Utah, and know that we're gonna give it our all, and we're gonna make this happen. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing everybody next time.
My name's Joel McKay Smith, and I've never met a microphone that I'm afraid of except for today, because I look out at this room and I realize there's so many expectations that are being placed upon some of the modest successes that we've had, that I got to talk about teams and how things happen. Last year in June, there was about 60 people that jumped on a bus that left from Salt Lake City, Utah, and went to Vernal, Utah, with numerous stops, including at Pando Labs. Ted, I don't know where you're at, but we have Park City Angels here with us. And we had a discussion about some of the issues that exist with talent on the Wasatch Front. There's more jobs than there is individuals on the Wasatch Front. And the purpose of this tour out to the Uinta Basin was to illustrate that there is talent in the rural communities. We had the intention of going to the Entrepreneurial Center, the Bingham Entrepreneurial Center at Utah State University out there, to have a tech expo to talk about the possibilities of bringing jobs to the Uinta Basin. And we were met with about it was more than that, it was probably 350, 400 people that were there with resumes in hand, dressed to success, ready to be employed. And we weren't able to leave them with jobs that day, but it gave us the realization that someday that we would need to come back. And on that bus was one of Health Equity's members, somebody else, I know maybe Carly's back here. And we talked about the different possibilities of what we could do with what we had learned on this bus tour to a Uinta Basin. And from that, the ideation behind the Health Equity expansion that many of you know about here into Price was born. In approximately October of last year, Health Equity had a need to be able to fill some positions for their member services specialists. And through a partnership that Tammy Mersenbach and really the Southeastern Utah Association of League of Governments had provided for us, we had a space. And in that space, the incubator down on 375 Carbon Main, I believe that we had a grand total of 12 days to fill the quota of what they had asked for, which was 15. And I think that that original hire was 27, which then grew to 57 from a pilot we were going to try for about 15. I give that credit to the amazing talent pool that exists in Carbon and Emery County. We were floored. These people already had experience in advanced customer service. They had been working for people that did transcribing for the deaf. They'd been helping with all sorts of medical people. We found that there's conflicting numbers, but close to 2,000 people that drive every day for work to the Wasatch Front because it's not here. So thanks to the vision of Health Equity, we were able to prove that we had a pilot. That moved into what we're now hoping to do, and again, being cautious with what we're hoping to represent we can do here in the reinvigoration of the J.C. Penney building, utilizing it as a job skills location. Perhaps we can have 4 to 5 health equities in a corporate campus that is provided with all of the necessary infrastructure. You guys have great fiber here. Emory Telecom rocks. And with the support of individuals like Lieutenant Governor Cox and Clint Betts, who's going to come talk here in a little bit, getting the word out that we already know it can be done here, we just need to do it again. And to do that again, it takes a team. I'm not going to paraphrase Hillary, but it does take a village, and the ability to be able to put together more consortiums to do that is great. One thing we found in the assessment that we've done in numerous counties around the state, not everybody wants an information systems job. That's a telephone and a computer. I despise the word call centers, okay, guys? Those offices up in Salt Lake City that have a phone and a computer, that can be done here. It's amazing what you can do with fiber optics. It's simply a matter of being able to make sure that we have the training in place with some of the things that Future in Design is doing. I believe we have representatives from Utah Digital Entertainment Network here that brought E&A to Utah. They trust in this model. Eventually we could have training in VR and AR. There's all sorts of resources that already exist that we just need to be able to bring down here to be able to tie into it. We're going to announce, and we've been talking about the new hire that we're doing for Health Equity. We're talking about another 25 people now and another 25 people in a couple of months. I don't know where Mayor Piccolo is, but he could probably tell us what that means to an economy like this. So I'm not going to ramble on more than I need to. I just implore of those that may be watching this, that's on TV, to trust in your rural Utah communities. Carbon County is a glowing example of what can be done with fiber optics, partnerships between urban communities and rural communities. And going forward, we need to follow the lead of what Spencer Cox is doing and what Derek Miller is doing with this tour that they have with the 25K jobs tour. And instead of it just having to be a corporate show for that, how we can work together to be able to solve the problems on the Wasatch Front where you can't fill the jobs with the people that, if they don't have the skills here, they are amply skillable. I'd also like to announce that we're going to have some national weight. We have Women's Leadership Live here. I don't know if you guys know who they are, but they've produced a couple thousand products over the next couple of years. There will be some things announced in the next couple of weeks that's going to state that we're going to have access to some capital that's going to be able to tie into the ability for people to have businesses that are going to be showcased. And when the time is right, we'll talk to you about that. But there are other people that are looking at the model of Utah with what we can do. I don't want to leave anybody out that's shown up here. So if I haven't brought up your name from an acknowledgement standpoint, please note that it's been very much appreciated, the support of you coming down today, talking to the people of Carbon and Emery County, and we look forward to seeing you guys at 5 to 7 at the 25K Jobs Tour, which is going to be at Utah State. Jake, I believe that you are going to introduce the Lieutenant Governor, but Clint, if I could put you on the spot to talk about the prosperity that you're having a hard time maintaining right now in a lot of ways because of the lack of talent. Thanks.
I put on my best hat for all of you. I mean, we're in first place nationally. Feel pretty good. I'm Clint Betts. I'm the executive director of Silicon Slopes. We're the nonprofit organization for Utah's tech community. So all of kind of the major tech companies in the state of Utah sit on our executive boards. Their CEOs do. We have great relationships with all the different venture capital firms. Our whole mission is to empower the community to learn, connect, and serve. But I have a unique connection to Price. In the summers, when I was growing up, I have an aunt and uncle who live in Price. And I'd always looked forward to coming to visit in the summer because Price had this amazing street hockey, like underground street hockey league almost. Is that true? Do you guys, is street hockey's pretty big here? Is that still a thing? I brought my rollerblades just in case. It was the funnest part of our summer was coming up here and visiting our aunt and uncle. As I mentioned, our whole goal as an organization is to empower entrepreneurial communities to learn, connect, and serve. I think too often folks think of Silicon Slopes as from Provo to Ogden, and that's not the case. Silicon Slopes represents all of Utah. After today, I think we'll open up a Carbon County chapter of Silicon Slopes. Yeah, I think we know somebody with a building where we can hold some meetings and begin to bring Carbon County into Silicon Slopes. Something we think about nearly every day as an organization is how do we ensure the Silicon Slopes don't rise while the rest of Utah falls or remains stagnant. I think it's important you guys are part of what is happening on the Wasatch Front. We welcome you with open arms. As with health equity coming here, I think it's opened the doors for a lot more tech companies to look at this as possibly expanding their talent and everything that they're building. So thank you for inviting me. I didn't know I'd be coming up or else I would have worn something different. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Jake Miller, and I'm a county commissioner, one of the 3 here in Carbon County. And after seeing all the jobs being announced today, I realized one important thing. I should have been an IT guy. They can dress however they like. No, many things have I realized today. I want to talk to you a little bit about mining for diamonds, because it has to do with the person I'm going to introduce here shortly. Mining for diamonds, sometimes we forget that the most precious diamonds are in our own backyard. And I want to talk to you about rural Utah and the fact that some of the hardest working, most ethical and diligent people you will find are in rural Utah. Carbon County, our diamonds have been the coal mines of the past. And I say that because we used to, not too long ago, have about 15 of them. And now we have two remaining coal mines with limited lifespans. However, you can see our efforts to diversify and to bring new opportunities to our local area. The tripod of success balances on 3 legs, one being the people, 2 being the education and training, and 3 being the opportunities. Did I say the same thing 3 times? No. Okay, just making sure. Fortunately enough, we have bred the right people here in rural Utah, here in Carbon County. Not very many people will willingly walk down into a dark hole and work half days. Not very many people will work on a crew of welders to produce a product for Amazon with 14-hour shifts to make it happen in the timeline required. Not very many people will wake up in the middle of the night to irrigate. Not very many people will be with their first-year cows as they're calving to make sure that all goes well. We have those people here. And as you've seen today, we have a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities that used to be the cost of living in paradise no longer is an expense to us. And we have the right leadership to make it happen. Which brings me to the man I want to introduce today. This individual willingly, on a minimum, drives 200 miles a day to commute to work, oftentimes more. This individual willingly will pick up a bass guitar and entertain others. He as well has served local communities as a councilman, a county commissioner, and now as our lieutenant governor of the state of Utah. A little bit more about this individual so that we can understand and appreciate what he is willing to do for rural Utah as the head of next to the head of our state. When the governor had his initiative of 25,000 jobs in the 25 rural counties over the next 4 years, of course, who did he give it to? But the lieutenant governor, who is from rural Utah. Tonight, we're very excited to mention, of all the jobs being brought and all the employers who have spoken tonight, around 220 new positions that are currently either being filled as of last week or will be filled over the next 2 months. We will be making future announcements of more job openings that could possibly double that number in the next 2 months as well, before year end. We're very excited to have the JCPenney building open with all the various employers who will be operating there and the opportunities for our community as far as bringing the education and training, one of those 3 legs, to our community to make it all possible. I had a lot of other really great things to say because Wikipedia has a lot of information on the lieutenant governor. But without further ado, because I don't want to take any more of his time, please welcome Spencer Cox, our lieutenant governor.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that very kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to be here with you today. This is really amazing. I'm most excited because this is the longest I've been in Carbon County without anybody talking to me about water. So that's an awesome thing. And thank you for letting a kid from Sanpete County come back over. It's great to be here with you. This is incredible. It really is incredible. I love this place. I've spent so much time here as a kid and throughout my life. I do still live just just over the mountain here, and it's great to be with you. I need to ask a favor. I need to ask if it's possible for us to bottle up Tammy and take her with us to all the other counties that we're working at. I hope you appreciate the hard work and the vision and the foresight and the tenacity that she brings to this position, together with your elected officials and everybody who works in this space, everybody in the county. Please join me in giving Tammy. And here's the part that I want everybody else to see. You know this because you live here. Tammy got emotional when she was talking about all of these jobs that are coming here. And I get emotional when I talk about it too, because when you're from rural Utah, I mean, this is real. This is life and death stuff. This isn't a spreadsheet where you get to talk about 5,000 jobs here and another 400 jobs here, and Amazon's coming to town and Adobe's coming to town. We get really excited when somebody says we're creating 2 to 3 jobs. That's a really big deal, because that's 2 to 3 families that get to live here. That's 2 to 3 kids that we don't have to send off somewhere else, that want to stay here, that are part of our families. We don't have to export our kids when we hear that 2 to 3 jobs. And so when we hear 200 jobs, man, that's a game changer. That really is a big deal. I love this. Okay, I love this logo. This logo offends half our country right now. We've got train tracks. We've got a coal miner. We've got an oil derrick, right? We've got all these dirty words on that symbol, and we're proud of it here because that's who we are. But see, I've been saying something for a long time, and I think today I realize I've been saying it wrong. When I talk about rural Utah, especially when I'm talking to my friends on the Wasatch Front, I say that the old economy has left rural Utah, but the new economy hasn't found us yet. All right, and that's kind of been my message to them. And we're caught in this place where people are losing something that a couple people mentioned today, and it's the most important word. Nicole, you mentioned it. Do you remember what the word was? They're losing hope, right? What we heard today is hope. See, hope is what gets us through. Hope is what happened 160 years ago when those pioneers, the Mormons and the Greeks, ended up here, right? And they looked at this place and thought, wow, okay, here we go, right? Here we go. And they had hope for a brighter future. They wanted to make it a place where they could raise their kids and grandkids. And as long as we have hope, we can do anything. But over the past few years, we've started to lose hope. Too many families have started to lose hope. And they've turned to other things to find that hope. Unfortunately, some of them have turned to drugs. Some of them have turned to opioids. Some of them have completely lost hope. And we've seen suicide rates in rural America and rural Utah increasing. The opioid addictions are skyrocketing, not just here in Utah, but everywhere. It's a problem. But I believe at the heart of that is a loss of hope, and economic hope specifically. Today, we're fighting that. We have hope today. And when I said I had it all wrong about the old economy leaving us and the new economy not finding us, the new economy isn't going to find us. That's our job. Our job is to find the new economy. Our job is to make that new economy. Our job isn't to sit around and wait for the lieutenant governor, the governor, anybody else to fix this. Our job is to do what they did 160 years ago, and that's to get to work. And that's what Tammy did. That's what your commissioners have done, your mayors, and not just them. We like to give each other and take a lot of credit as politicians. It's kind of what we do best. These guys and these guys are the ones creating the jobs. They're the risk takers. They're the ones that are making it happen. They're the ones that are seeing something that others haven't seen. They've seen an opportunity, and they're jumping in. Innovation is the key. And even when we don't think of it as innovation, clearly when we're talking about Bitcoin, right? That's innovation. I don't get it, but it's really cool. All right, that's awesome, and we're doing that here of all places. That's incredible. But we're innovating the way we refurbish kitchens right? That's an innovation. The fact that you can do it for half the price or a third of the price of everywhere else, that's innovation. What we heard with the steel manufacturing that's going on, that's innovation. We can do that kind of stuff here because we are bred by entrepreneurs. You go into that coal mine every day, you're an entrepreneur. You got to figure out how to get it done, how to make it work. And not just entrepreneurs, but we know how to work harder than anybody else. And I don't care what anyone says, this is where we breed hard work. Our kids, there's a problem in this country where kids don't know how to work and they're struggling as they get into adulthood. We don't have that problem here. We know how to teach our kids to work. So let's get to work. Let's keep going. Let's double that number over the next couple months, and then I need your help to teach the other counties how to do it. All right. Thanks for always being a leader. Thanks, Carbon.
I want to thank each person that got up and spoke today. I have to tell you, some of the companies that got up to speak were a little shy and didn't share the full vision and story of their company, but that's okay, and all the jobs that they're going to bring. And that's, I know some of you were excited to come in here. To the very end, I want to talk just a little bit about one thing, and that is collaboration. Cities and counties need to collaborate, individuals and organizations, and we all need to work together. And as we do, that's going to help us to grow. It can't be one person trying to do everything, but we've got to work together. And it may be counties with other counties, or counties as a group together with the state, but we've got to make things happen. My challenge to you today is to think outside the box. See what you can do to help your own environment. What can you do to help to think beyond where your company is or where you're at right now to move to the next step? And if you need help and support, that's what we're here for. My job isn't to do your job. If you've got a company, it's not to run your company. My job is to be here as a resource and to support you. We have something in our county that's kind of thinking outside the box to help other counties. And I'm excited to say that we have an area of rooms that we're going to be able to utilize. I'm going to get excited or emotional again. Where we're going to be able to bring in people from other counties and get them trained here so that they can go back home and work. And our hope and our desire, once the JCPenney building is up and going, that in the next year and a half, we can have 150 to 200 people in other counties that are trained that can go home and work in rural Utah. That's not counting the training that they're going to be able to do in some of the other areas. Brian was very shy in sharing that some of his jobs are going to come back from overseas, and we're going to bring them back home. And that's where those jobs need to be. And we're talking a large amount of jobs, and we're grateful for the work that he's doing. So thank you to Brian. I want to thank each of you for coming today. This is just as exciting to see your support and your help. And then I, again, want to reiterate, go home and think outside the box what you can do, because we can't do this alone. We all need to do it together. Thank you.